So do you think, or do you know, is it common that in something like what they're presenting, they're going, to try to get the settlement signed? Is it common that they would go to the individual's house, or would they try to meet like in a more neutral location, or?
In my experience, it would be a neutral location, but again, like Brent said, I've definitely never had to deal with settling a death settlement type thing. So
Yeah, I mean, it's something like that. Obviously, it's pretty unique. I would think in that situation, it's a little extreme, but it's also not uncommon. I mean, you go where your lessor is, or you go where your party is, and
yeah.
if you need to sit down, I mean, God, we're landmen. We've all negotiated a lot of big deals at a kitchen table, or in a diner, or wherever, front porch, office. So the settlement stuff, yeah, if it's a big deal, and typically when it's comes to a case or it's really getting to be serious, yeah, you would do that in front of attorneys and in an office. But not uncommon to do some pretty meaningful deals wherever you can get down and get in front of the person that you're trying to get the deal done with.
World, I think you see a little bit of that in the next episode.
Yeah, I stopped at 8. I didn't want to get confused if I was talking about 8 or 9.
Yeah, I probably should have done that because I went ahead.
So switching topics a little bit, I think the episode kind of starts off with Monty meeting with the governor, and they get the approval for the Texas National Guard to come out, which it makes for a great part of the show. But and I think they mention it, but still, it seemed to me like you probably shouldn't be shooting missiles anywhere near active oil production. Regardless of how far apart on the land it is, I would just imagine, all in all, that is a bad idea.
Well, I just kept thinking, what's the name of their company? MTEX, or
MTEX.
do they own the 75,000 acres surface, or do they have some serious, surface provisions on their lease? I guess allowing the military just to go firing rockets everywhere.
I thought the exact same thing, Robert. Whenever there was like, so how do they have these rights? Can they Can they let the National Guard? What's this rancher going to think?
Yeah.
What about the cows?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all this stuff.
75,000 acres, you can shoot anyway. Just shoot that way.
Well, my favorite was when Tommy said, "You can build a Starbucks if you want."
Yeah.
Well, what got me was he was like, "Hell, you can dove hunt out there for all I care." I was like, "Oh, like dove hunt? Oh, where? Okay, now that's different. I need that kind of deal."
Yeah. Well, because at the beginning of the season, he meets with the cartel, and he gets him to sign the agreement and everything. So that made me think the cartel is the surface owner for all this land, right?
Yeah.
And you're blowing up those surface owners on their own land. I can't imagine that doesn't fall back on Tommy being I told him,
Sounds like the cartel, to Brent's point, didn't read the entire document. So
they did not. Yeah.
On them.
And it sounds to me like that flow chart resembles more of like an East Texas flow chart than a South Texas flow chart. So, yeah, there's a lot of gray area there. I don't know. Maybe they own the 75,000 acres next to the cartel lease.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe, yeah. But I mean, well, we're not going to condone them distributing their drugs out there. I mean, it's kind of their land. They can do what they want, right? So if it doesn't open you up for target practice for the National Guard. So I thought that was a pretty interesting point there, and we'll see, I guess, if that falls back on Tommy, the deaths of the cartel members.
Yeah, that kind of seems, obviously where the show's heading, right? That's going to be the climax of the season, is Tommy facing off versus the cartel, I'm sure.
Yeah,
man. The scene where the Tommy brings the boys, his roughneck crew out there, his workover crew, like, I thought about that. I was taking some notes because I knew I was going to talk about this, and I have a hard time being serious about a lot of things. And so like I saw that and I was like, oh man, that's like brokers. Like the company only calls us when they got stuff they need to do they don't want to do or they can't be associated with. That's where we come. That's where Robert and I come in. We do all the stuff that they don't or can't do.
We do with a smile on
knock around guys.
Yeah, like so me and Robert, we're in our band of band pirates out here we're holding the 9mm sideways, keeping the danger away.
Figuratively, of course.
Figuratively, yeah. That would be in violation of all of our MSAs. So we do not carry handguns on the job, and we will not face off the cartel. But figuratively speaking, we kind of do that.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the last episode we did, covering episode 7, and just all the violations, all the OSHA violations. I mean,
Was that Hamill on the last one?
no, that was a couple episodes ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but just yeah, they'd have a field day with handing out violations for you're carrying guns and you're doing this and that and the other. I mean, holy
I like
moly!
how he had like what was it, episode 1 or 2 or something like that. Well, who has like a full-on fire suit outfit, helmet, mask in their work truck? I don't know, man. Tommy's a dude, man. He's got all kinds of stuff going on. He is prepared.
There's every hat that you could imagine.
All rolled into one.
Yeah. Which, I mean, to a certain extent, I mean, a good surface landman ends up finding themselves in a lot of things and a lot of difficult conversations, unique conversations. Like when you're kind of living and breathing on somebody's property and it's their property, it's a constant battle. And so a lot of the things that, even though it's dramatized for TV, obviously, you're putting out fires, especially surface landman, and a good surface landman on an asset or in these major producing areas, the Haynesville, Marcellus, Utica, obviously the Permian, they're in the middle of it, and they deal with a lot, and they're the conduit, and they get deals done when it comes to surface land ownership and stuff like that. Tommy seems to be a little more involved in like, in the show, in like the deals and kind of decision making. But at the small company level, maybe you are involved in that stuff. You're doing a little bit of everything, but surface landmen do put out fires. I got to give it to them. And a good surface landman can get things done. They really, really can. So, it's a little relatable aside from the cartel face-offs.
You definitely had guys get guns pulled on them, but not by cartel.
Well, yeah. I don't think you got your stripes until you had a gun pulled on you. I had a guy throw a carburetor at my truck one time.
Hopefully he didn't get it there.
It was heavy. Carburetor was a little heavy. It was from a T, so it was a little weighty, a little beefy.